Sahana bhavatu, Sahano bhunaktu, Saha viryan karavavahai, Tejasvinavaditamastu ma viddishavahai. Om Shanti. We're seeing this characteristics of self-development. He is describing a man of development because the lakshana for that person, of this person, becomes sadhana for the seekers. Say it is siddhasya lakshanani, sadhakasya sadhanani is the statement. What is the lakshana of the siddha becomes the sadhana for the sadhak. What is the nature? What is natural to him? Nature in the sense, what is natural to him is where we have to put in our effort. Like how the cover drive for Rahul Dravid is so effortless. The effortless cover drive of Rahul Dravid becomes the effort for the person who is wanting to learn to play cricket. How to play cover drive. So he has to keep on looking at the way Rahul Dravid was batting, or straight drive, or square cut. You wanted to learn. For them, it is so effortless, so natural. What those people call, this sportsmen call as muscle memory. It has gone into their muscle. It's not that the batsman is thinking, calculating, all those things. Because it's just a fraction of a second. He has the time for him to decide what to do. Whether to play the ball or leave the ball, or to play defense, or to play just tap it or go for a slog. All that he has to decide within that fraction of a second. And he has to judge what type of the ball. Where is the time for him to do all that? There is no time. But then once that muscle memory is gained, after that it is effortless. It looks so effortless. That's why even few batsmen, when they bat, it looks so effortless. When they get out, the score drops. Why? That's what we call a skill, etc. and all that. Temperament, skill, technique, this is various terms we use. But all those things have to be consciously cultivated. Similarly, the characteristics were given here for us to take as a reference point and start working on that consciously. Take any one of these facets or two of these facets or whatever is inspiring to you. Take it up and start working on that. So in that he gives the first one. Is this self-sufficiency. A state where you don't feel inadequate, incomplete. That's called self-sufficiency. Now we immediately ask this question, okay, sir, how are we to practice this? How am I to, what sort of an effort you can put in to cultivate this quality of self-sufficiency? How do we manage that? He says it's not easy, but at the same time it is not impossible also. Then what is it, sir? It is difficult. You say it is impossible, then there's no point. If you say it is easy, by now, all of us should have got it. It's not. It is difficult, no doubt about it. Then what is the effort you have to put in? That's where we take clues from the scriptures. What is the thing, sir? One of the aspects we can do, one of the things that you can consciously work on is this, to develop this self-sufficiency, is exploit the weakness of your mind. Learn to convert your mind's weakness to your advantage. Right? Because you don't have anything else. That's what the scriptures say. Manas eva manushyanam karanam bandhamokshayoho. The mind of the man is the reason for bandha, also moksha. For your freedom, for your inadequacy, also for your self-sufficiency. For both, what is the cause? They say mind is the cause. How one of the facets, one of the classical aspect of the mind is to magnify everything. Remember, your mind is like a magnifying glass. No matter what you are going to place in front of that, it will magnify. That's where your intellect comes into picture. It is your intellect that decides what needs to be presented in front of your mind. Now, what is it that you present? Do you present what you have or what you don't have? What is there versus what is not there? Everyone in the world has got something. There's no one in the world who has nothing. And philosophically, we say, no. I was complaining that I didn't have shoe until I met a man who had no legs. You have legs, right? You have eyes. You have ears. You have nose. You have things with you. Now the question is, are you presenting, focusing what you have or what you don't have? Are you focusing on the blessed times of yours or the pains of yours? Which one you present in front of the mind? Which one you repeat? You keep presenting it. Now the moment you give it once, the first time you present it, X plus. Next time when you are presenting that in front of the mind, now that X plus becomes X. Then X plus plus. Because mind will magnify again. When you recall, when you relive, when you remember, what are you doing? Which one you are focusing on? When you are riding a bike, Do you see where you want to go or where you don't want to go? This is a classic instruction they give. When you are losing control of the vehicle, when you are when the brakes are not operating, what you should do? They say, don't look into the areas where you should not. Don't look at the tree where you may go and hit. The moment you tell the mind that I don't want to hit the tree, before you complete the thought, you have already hit. Because the mind's nature is what? It will magnify. It's an amplifier. It is a magnifying glass. So self-sufficiency is what you present to that mind, what you have already with you, what that mind will do. Will start magnifying that. Will start showing what all you have already, what all you are enjoying already, what is there with you, what is available to you, what you are blessed with. A few years back, I asked a group of students to give a list. It's a good exercise. You can also try that. Count 50 blessings in your life and write down. And you will find the first 15, 20, you will not have a problem if you are really smart. After 15, 20, you will be struggling. You have to think hard and then write. And what would be interesting is, after the 35, 40, from 41 to 50, you should read what you are calling as blessings. It's amazing. That list, you will be surprised. If anyone were to, read it out without telling, someone is feeling they are blessed. Like there are fellows who have written, I am blessed with the taskmaster type of a professor. I hate that fellow. I don't like him at all. But I'm blessed that I have a person like him. I say, how is it possible that someone who is torturing you, you are considering that to be a blessing? But what is interesting is why you did not write that in the first 5, top 5. If you read the top 5 and the bottom 5, interesting is why this bottom 5 did not show itself up in the beginning. That is where we get the clue of how you can practically bring in this idea of self-sufficiency. Otherwise, you can keep on reading. You will keep reading, parables and stories and appreciate and say, wow, he is extraordinary, sir. Sudama was such a great man of, man of self-sufficiency. Epitome of self-sufficiency is Sudama. You will also give lecture. You can also tell others. But then, can you feel it? For you to feel, you need to exploit, tap into the weakness of the mind. Today, what is causing your incompleteness is the same magnifying nature of your mind. Because you are unintelligently going on showing to that mind what is missing, what is lacking, what is not there. the pain of your life. The pain of your life is seen much more than the joy, the pleasant experiences. And you see people, referring to their past painful moment versus pleasantries. They'll refer that pleasant moments, the blissful moments of their life, as a matter of fact. They just refer that as a matter of fact. But when they are referring to their pain, involuntarily they start shedding tears. Not that they are wanting to. The fact that they just get that thought, just that memory is enough for this person to feel. Why? Why that is the case? Because you have been rewinding that same thing again and again and again to your own mind. And every time you are reliving that, remembering that experience, you are making it bigger and bigger. Because mind will go on magnifying it. It will never stay. And there is no end to that magnification. It's not that, sir, after that is magnified into 10,000 times, it will stop. No. It is like fire. You can go on adding fuel. It will consume the fuel and the fire has grown bigger. Never fire gets satiated, stating, enough, man. Enough of fuel. Now I'll start shrinking. You keep adding fuel, I'll start shrinking after a point. Impossible. It will go on and on and on. And every time when you are seeing, next time when you are showing it to that mind, again it will magnify. And this magnification goes on happening in geometric progression. I see, that's what they say. I don't know. I'm sure all of you would have heard the story of a man who invented this chess game. The intelligent fellow, a great mathematician he was. So he said, sir, how much you want for this? So that the king was so happy. He said, you just double the rice for every square. First square 1, second square 2, third square 4, fourth square 8. And this king said, see, stupid this is. I don't want all this. It's so nonsense. Don't do that. Ask something, substantial. I'm a king. I can give you anything. He said, I don't want all that, sir. Just give me this much. And the king told this, minister and said, hey, just hand it over. And I'm not going to be wasting my time with this fellow. I thought he's an interesting guy. And he just went off to harem. After about, by afternoon, the minister came to the harem. Standing outside, he called, sir, there's a problem. What? The entire godown is emptied. The whole state godown is emptied now. Where are we? We are in the 50th square, sir. Now we have another 14 squares. Because by 49th square, what has happened? Half the country's godowners came. Next square is what? Another half. 51 2 countries, right? 52, 4 countries. So even if we add all the neighboring countries also, we cannot pass more than 60. We will be owning this fellow another 4. Now imagine that 61, 62, 63, 64. That is your mind, remember. Initially, you don't feel anything. You'll say, just a rice, no, what's a big deal? One paise. Big deal, man, just give. 1 paise, 2, 4. Initially, you will never feel that pinch. You will not even understand. In fact, up to that 15 also, you may not feel anything. Actually speaking, if you are like a king. Suddenly, where it becomes 10,000. 10,000 becomes in just 3 steps. It will grow so big, so big, so big. You go on adding. Don't think it is magnifying. Next time when you are placing it in front of it, the magnified one is what is placed now. Again, this will get magnified. Again, that will get magnified. That's where they make the statement. Manasyeva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayo. That is the cause for your bondage, also liberation. What is bondage? Incompleteness is bondage. Self-sufficiency is moksha. So if you have to experience that, what are you supposed to do? Place what is the blessed moment in your life. Place what you have in life. Keep repeating what you have in life. Keep repeating, keep repeating. You are blessed with so much. Repeat that. Don't focus on what is missing in your life. Everyone feels what is missing in their life. And then you have an excellent excuse. I want to develop myself, sir. Now, this is what the problem is. See, remember, all negative things in life will lean on something positive. The negative will never stand by itself. It will always lean on a positive thing. The logic you give will be superb, fantastic. Unless I know what is wrong in my life, how can I correct it? As though you have known all the rights in your life. Never make that mistake. That is self-sufficiency. That is how you experience. Because we ask this question, sir, how are we to keep this? When am I going to practice this self-sufficiency? Where I am going to achieve that? They are not practical, sir. Give us something, practical Vedanta. Vedanta is not a practical one. Why? The most practical thing in the world is Vedanta. Nothing else is practical. Everything else is impractical. But it will appear like that. Because we have not learned the way it is supposed to be learned and work the way you are supposed to be working on that. So how do you practice self-sufficiency? This is one of the clues you can take. And then he is moving to the next idea, universal love. Right. What is his state? The state of self-development. Another characteristics of self-development is universal love.
Universal love. The love that people claim to have for their near and dear ones is far from true love. Actually, it is preferential attachment, uneven love. You love your child more than any other. How is it that your love is concentrated on your child alone? Think. Your child caters to your personal demands more than others, satisfies your physical, emotional, and intellectual needs, fulfills your self centered, selfish interests. Thus, the love you claim for your child is all but directed to your own well being. You are merely loving yourself when you say you love your near, dear ones. True love is even, same to one and all. Love in its purest form has to be universal, not concentrated in one. Universal love is an essential trait of self development. Jesus Christ attained that supreme state. His love was unabated in the worst circumstance. When Christ was crucified, he maintained the same feeling. As he was nailed on the cross, his last words were dripping with love. Father, forgive them. They know not what they do.
Love means a feeling of affection, a feeling of fondness, consideration, identification. That's called love. So the love that a developed man experiences, the developed being experiences, is universal in nature. Now put the contrast. What would be the love of underdeveloped? It will be preferential in nature. For them, it is universal in nature. The feeling of identification, oneness, the feeling. Now remember, feeling of love is different from duties that you have towards others. What is your obligation towards the other is always different, variable. You can never have universal obligation. There's no such thing called universal obligation, universal duty. The moment you are discussing duties, obligations, actions, it will become segregated, separated, individualistic, contextual, personal. You can never have en bloc for everyone. This is the thing. It's not possible. Or in a very highly theoretical manner, if you are asking, sir, what is the universal duty? Universal duty of all beings. There is only one universal duty for all beings. That is to realize the self. Do you consider that as a duty? You think it is optional, isn't it? It is optional for you. On the way, if I get a chance to get realized also, I will realize. I will condescend to realize. Ishwaran, you are so getting worked up. So don't worry, man. Don't get angry. Don't get, stressed out. I will get realized. Okay? Are you happy now? This is the way you think about realization, isn't it? As though we are doing a favor to this Upanishadic masters and, all that, you think. You are doing a favor to them. We don't consider realization to be the duty. If at all you say duty, universal duty, there is only one universal duty. And universally we discarded that. Right? So there is no problem, which is correct. Universally, nobody is working on that. If you find, one person in a generation, you are lucky. What the Shastra says. Not achieving, putting that effort. who is striving. Rare one is the one who strives towards it. So we are not talking about that person here. We are talking about what we all understand as duties. I have an obligation to my family. I have a duty towards my family. I have a duty towards my country. Right? Now, if I am going and living in another country, all my comforts, my life, my social security, and my medical, this one, that one, safety, everything is taken care of by that country. But I will not have any obligation towards the country, can you say? No, no, no. Then you got to have a divided loyalty. Like the lady has no in-laws house and their house, mother's house and in-laws house. There is a divided loyalty. Same way, these people has to have a divided one. Now, how can you say everyone has to do the same thing? In terms of action, remember, the moment we are discussing action, you can never discuss action without division. Don't be so naive in thinking that we are going to have all of us will have equal. It's all just words, empty words. Remember, it's simply an empty word. Right? All of us will have equal things, sir. You can put it in the emblem. You can put it in the in your office. Now, how can you have everyone equal? The fellow who is working in the kitchen and the person working in the factory floor with the machine, what is the dress code we give? Same. Why all over the world we give these people khaki and those fellows white? Why we give that? Are we giving same dress code to those people? No, no. It's different. Action. Duty is action. Action means preferential. Preferences means what? On what basis you are going to divide? In that, is there any rationale? That we can ask. In that, there has to be a rationale. Like this government gives, the ration card. So they give different ration cards. No, government has a duty to take care of their citizens. So they should give everyone same ration card. How is that possible? That's not a possibility. So don't mix up, remember, don't mix up your duties and your fondness, your affection. Here we are discussing about affection. Are you feeling that affection? Now look at your affection today. Take the list of people towards whom you shower your affection. Now, when I say affection, don't say, sir, when I see a cute baby, when I go for a walk in this one, I see a cute baby, I go and fondle that baby and come back. Therefore, I am very affectionate towards baby. That's not what is meant here. Then what is affection? You are affectionate towards something. You are fond. Your fondness, your identification towards whom you are able to identify. You are able to feel. You can feel only towards people who cater to you. those who cater to your demands, those who cater to your physical demands or your emotional demands or your intellectual demands, whoever is catering to you, to that demands, you will be showing your affection towards them. You will feel your affection towards them. You will feel that affect, you will feel one with them. You feel they are part of you. The moment they stop catering to you, what happens? After that, what is the case? Huh? This is what's happening between the couples. In all relationships. Any relationship. I'm just giving one example, couple. Initially, they were so affectionate towards each other. Dating, courting, wooing period, whatever we call. Honeymoon period. During that time, they are so affectionate towards each other. But the moment they stop catering to you, what happens after that? Even one instance is enough. That is why, now you may ask me, Ishwaran, how do you know? What is the proof? The proof is very simple. Anywhere you feel the need that the other person has to explain, that urge, that demand that the other person has to explain, or you force the other person to give an explanation, that means there is no love. If there is love, there will not be a need experienced by the other person to give an explanation. I'll give an example what I mean. The lady of the house feels the need, the urge to explain why there is less salt. You say there is less salt. Immediately, she feels the need to give an explanation, no? For everything. Everyone feels the need to explain themselves, no matter what you do. Good or bad. I'm not talking about only the negative, please. Like even the positive ones, you feel that urge, you have to explain to that person. That's why we keep on telling them, see, why, why I did this, why I did this. Number one. Number two, always you will find that the last word should be yours. That means there is no identification. Like you say, very simple. Do you have love in the family? How many times you have given the remote to your wife? We will watch. That's why today I go to houses. Everybody has got 2 TVs in the house. Why 2 TVs in the house? Huh? Just because you have money, correct? That's all. Now, other house they are not having. Why they are not having only is because lack of finance. That's the only reason. The day you get that affordability, it will show up. That's why we think, that poor people are so innocent. Innocent, that's out of ignorance, incapacitation. The rich man is capacitated to do. Therefore, what he is doing, every room will have one TV. Why? we can't even take a stand. I am willing to sit and watch something that you like. I may not enjoy it. I may not like it, but I'm willing to sit through for your sake. Now we are talking about universal love. What is the danger here is, now we also experience affection. Have you not experienced affection? Are you not fond of anybody? You have a list, no? I'm fond of my grandchild, or I am fond of, because most of that are gray hair I'm saying, so I'm saying grandchild, children. I can't say I'm fond of my wife if you say, look, you have a fondness, correct? That is why it doesn't matter what is the cost of the airfare. I'll go. You're willing to spend so much for what? I'm not saying don't go, okay? Go. But then, what is driving that? You are experiencing fondness, you are experiencing affection, which is called love. Therefore, you will also come to conclusion what? Sir, the difference between our love and his love is what? His love is so big, my love is small. That's all. It's like he is having a big car, I'm having a small car. That's all. But then I'm also having a car, he is also having a car. This is what you think. That is why he says, no, that is not the case. Because what you are experiencing is not what he is experiencing. What he is experiencing is love. What you are experiencing is attachment. And the attachment that you are experiencing, you are passing that, you are calling that as love. What you experience is different from what you are calling it. Is it legitimate or is it illegitimate? I have ordered for set dosa. The fellow brings masala dosa. And then you say, hey, what did I order? Set dosa, sir. What have you had? It's set dosa, sir. If he says, what will you do? You said, hey, in your hotel, set dosa means masala dosa, is it? He says, no, sir, this is what set dosa is. No, set dosa is different, masala dosa is different. Even though the dosa sound is common to both. Similarly, you are experiencing something, but you are calling it as something else. That's where the problem is. So don't think that he is having universal love, I am having family love. You are not having family love. Don't ever get into this delusive belief that you are loving your family. No. Have that courage to speak the truth. You need tremendous strength to speak that. That's what Oliver Goldsmith says. Love is still an emptier sound. It's modern fair one's jest. It's just an empty sound. Why? Because what you are experiencing is something else. What you are feeling is something else, but you are calling that as love. I love you. Do you love me? Of course, you love, but till what? So don't decide the name. Then on what basis you can go, sir, there also fondness, here also fondness, there also affection, here also affection, there also identification, here also identification. Everything looks same. Then what is the difference? Difference is what is that triggers the fondness. What is it that is triggering, causing the root? The root of your affection is selfishness. Whereas the root of his affection, the self-developed affection, is unselfishness. So exactly opposite. You experience one thing, but it'll also have similar patterns, because the man of love also will feel the same pain, isn't it? A beautiful statement. It's a saint called Vallalar. We had Tamil, beautiful saying of his. வாடிய பயிரை கண்டபோதெல்லாம் வாடினேன். வாடிய பயிர், I don't know how to explain it. The crops is ஆடுதலுக்கு என்ன சொல்றேன்? The best part is he sees, the field. He is this dried up, correct? Dried up crops. He sees that, and when he sees that, he gets rejected. He's walking. Okay. He sees. The moment he sees, the crops dried up, he gets dejected, depressed. Then he's talking to some fellow. One fellow passes by. He asks him, "Namaste, sir." He says, "Huh." And then he turns that side. He looks at that same crop again, dried crop. Again he feels dejected. Kandabodhellam, he says. That's where the beautiful statement of his is. He blinks his eyes, opens his eyes, no? He turned that side, look this side. Next day he goes and sees. Again he feels the same pain. So interesting. Your close one, last week, Urni had a small accident. Nothing big, a small one. But when she calls and says, there is a panic. Oh, what happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? He comes there, he just burnt her like that. That's all, nothing else. Just, the silencer. Now, in the bike silencer, it's touched. The hot one, he got a little burn. You see that, oh my God, such a pain. Oh, poor thing. Next day morning, what happens? Next day morning, what happens? Every time you see that burn, Does your feel the same? The feeling of whatever you experienced, no, first time when you saw. I see that. Very interesting. When my sister had a knee surgery here in Bangalore, she was with me. So at that time, a lot of guests came to the house to see her. They come, they sit, they talk, they sympathize, they feel sorry for her. All that will start for 10 minutes. After that, after about 10-15 minutes, they start having a normal conversation with her. Or else, there is another extreme. Another uncle of mine, very interesting. He came to the hospital to see her. He saw her in the hospital bed and then said, okay, bye, I'm going. He was not there even for 2 minutes. Since it was so angry. Then I have to tell her what is happening to him. The problem is, he is not worried about you suffering with pain and all that. His problem is, it should not happen in front of his eyes. That's all. See, I should not see it. Don't suffer in front of my eyes. Suffer somewhere else. That's okay. I don't mind. But don't suffer in front of me. That is called attachment. Now you think that's called love. That's not love. That's attachment. That is selfish. Why? Because the other person condition is agitating to your mind and you hate that agitation. Therefore you say what? You say get lost. Like a child, the grounds when you go, the child, climbs the steps and trips and falls. The mother will come and give one back to the child first. Why? Because it is affecting her, and the child getting hurt has affected her, and she doesn't want that affectation. Therefore, she gives a whack to the child. Why did you disturb my mind? And you call that as love? And what is so interesting is, Vallalar also says the same thing. He also gets dejected. That's where the confusion we get. Confusion is, sir, affection same, oneness same, all this is same. In attachment also, you will feel the same thing, right? Because like Vallalar saying, you will also experience same depression, same dejection. When you see your near and dear one is having pain, how you feel? Therefore, you come out and say what? Myself and Vallalar are same. To which we say, no. There are differences in two angles. One, from the root cause. Two, the consequence. Remember, the feeling will be the same. The impact also will be the same. If you are not having any impact, then you are indifferent. You are not loving. So when you are experiencing love, also when you are experiencing attachment, the confusion is, because that's why he makes it very clear. He says, the love that people claim, which means what? You are not lying. You see, you are not faking. You are genuinely believing that masala dosa is set dosa. That's what you are genuinely thinking. It's a big risk. A poison is treated as medicine, what will happen? In the case of taking masala dosa as set dosa is not a big problem. That's okay. But imagine that you are taking a poison to be the medicine, then consequence is going to be disastrous. But the tragedy is the similarities are so much, very difficult for you to decipher which is what. Therefore, say, don't look into these two factors. What you feel and what is the impact of that feel. Go one step after or one step behind. Either you have to go what is behind or you have to go what is ahead of it. From there, you can infer and say whether it is attachment or love. Otherwise, you cannot. What is backing it? What is backing is your possessiveness, your selfishness. Mind. The mindness that you claim. All my affection is possible only after I claim that as mine first. Unless it is not coming in the domain of mind, no affection will be experienced by me. So first I have to claim mine. That's what we call as selfishness. As long as the other party, other being, other person is catering to my demand. These two factors. What is behind? Mindness, selfishness. Parent experiencing towards their child. What is it? Mindness. Not as much as selfishness. Mother's love stemming from where? My child. If it is not my child, you can never feel the same intensity. So we say it is attachment. Then we go to the other side. What is its affectation side? Affectation side means what? You will also get affected. It's not that when you love somebody, doesn't mean you will never get affected and all that. Affectation will be there. Disturbance will be there. That's what this man says. Vallalar, to the extreme he goes. Kandabodellam vadine, he says. Turn this side, I look at it, I get rejected. I turn that side and look at it, I get rejected. Every time I see, I get that same rejection. It's almost impossible to experience it. Once when you are passing by in the car, you will also feel the same thing. You all dried up, man. In those days, it used to be like what, all you will say. That is once you will say. After that, next field when you see, you just walk across. After that, you see the next field. What are you going to say now? That's what everywhere, man. Like those people who go for this safari. Have you seen? Safari. The first they see excitement, tremendous excitement will be there. Oh, see that, herd of zebras. So much of zebra. And they keep clicking pictures, this, and all those things. And then the jeep will travel. Again, other side, another set of zebras. Again, say, after 3 herds of zebras they have seen. 4th time they see that same zebra. What is the case? In South Africa, they took me to lion safari. Lioness and the cubs. Fascinating ones to see them. I was more fascinated looking at the people inside the van. Because First 5 minutes only they are excited about seeing the lion, lioness and all that. After that they say, okay, let's go. Next. Why can't you see that same lion and stay in that excitement? Not possible. Same way pain also. You can't feel that. It's impossible for you to hold. That is what Vallala says. Kandabodellam vadile. That every time I see it, I feel the same sense of dejection. It was impossible to feel. He also gets affected. You also get affected. Therefore, you say what? Both of us are same, sir. There is no. The difference is when you get affected, that affectation comes and disturbs your capacity to act. It incapacitates you to perform your obligations. Whereas this man will get affected, but at the same time, his affectation, that disturbance will not come to such an extent where it can make him incapacitated to take the course of action. Whatever needs to be done. This is the difference. You feel the same. Both are affectionate. Both will be experiencing affectation. Remember, and don't go by the intensity alone. It's not that there he will feel more intense affection, here it is less intense. No, intensity is not the criteria here. So you put this column, love, attachment. What is common for both? What is common for both is affection and affectation. Both will experience affection, both will experience affectation. Both will get affected. What is the difference? Difference is what is the root of it? The root of affection and the consequence of affectation. Post affectation, what happens? So the root of affection is, for attachment, what is the root? Selfishness, mindness is the root. The other side, unselfishness is the root. Then affectation leads to incapacitation to perform your obligation. Love, your faculties are available to take the right course of action along with the affectation. Remember this. Not minus affectation, not less affectation. Perhaps the affectation can be more in the case of love than in the case of attachment. Example, Padalar. This is the difference between love and attachment. What the developed person is talking about and what we claim. The mistake is we feel one thing, we call it by something else. There is a difference. Therefore, says, do this. And he has to give an example for that love experience. What is that? That extreme example is the example of Jesus Christ, where he is the pain that was inflicted on him was extreme. Even at that stage, he is still saying what? Children. Oh, your own child comes and irritates you, you get angry. Imagine, you just got your new iPhone 13. Independence Day sale. You got the iPhone 13. And your own grandchild breaks it. What you will do? Hmm? Finish that fellow. Hmm? Contrast that with Christ. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they are doing. Kids, they are innocent. Ignorantly, they are doing something. They don't understand what they are doing. Poor fellows. It's okay. From where that comes, not that statement. Don't say that. I'm also going to say the same statement. Now that you would memorize that statement and keep telling everyone. Forgive them, and all that. No. From where that is coming? It is stemming from something that is called universal law. That capacity in you to feel that affection equally towards everyone. Remember, we are talking only about the feeling of affection, not your obligation towards those people. The obligation you have towards your family is different from the obligation you have. The obligation you have towards your wife is different from the obligation you have towards your mother. It's not the same thing. They are two different things. I'm not saying which is higher, which is lower and all. Okay. They are two different things. First, understand they are two different things. Then you can go into the discussion of prioritization and all that. Obligations are different. So you can't have this even obligation. Same obligation towards. That is not possible. Yes. Affection need not be fluctuating. Why that fluctuation? The fluctuation is because of the root cause. The root cause is minus selfishness. In his case, there is no minus, no selfishness. Therefore, there is no uneven love. It is the same love towards everyone. If it is 5%, it is 5% towards everybody. If it is 50%, it is 50% towards everybody. If it is 100%, 100% towards everybody. That's called even. So you have that same feeling. Feeling need not be different. We'll see in the next class.